Hello and welcome to ChanDezign. Today I'm going to show you how I made these DIY custom wooden coasters. So the first thing I did is I found patterns that I liked off the internet and I printed them out and then I photocopied them like you would at any photocopy shop. And then I turn them upside down and I clamp it onto a piece of just plywood, whatever plywood I had lying around at the moment. And then once I have it in place I want, I use simple acetone. You can use that as nail polish remover, I guess. And then I take a credit card and I wrap paper towel around it. And I just rub that deep into the back of the paper so that it transfers the ink onto the plywood. Now this takes longer. You want to make sure you put pressure down, pushing the ink right into the paper. You might have to check a couple times to make sure that the transfer does a good job going onto the wood. So this is where I'm doing, where I remove the clip and then I flip it over. There's a couple of spots not there, so I clamp back up, put more acetone on my paper, and then rub it again. Once you get to a point where you're satisfied with the amount of ink that has transferred onto the plywood, then you can remove the paper right altogether and then see the product you have. At this point, I sprayed a layer of polyurethane on it, not only to darken the ink, but also to protect it for the next step. So the next step is over to the bandsaw, and I cut out each of the coasters separately before I can round out the corners or anything else. So take your time cutting it right to the line and round it off in the corners a little bit. So I'm showing you footage of me cutting one of the coasters. All I did was do this, and then I cut it 7 more times to get the other 8. And then I took over to the belt sander, and I used the disc part to flatten out each side and round off the corners. Once I had all the corners and rounded and the sides flattened, because I used cheap plywood, the back splintered a little bit under the bandsaw, so I took it to the belt part and I cleaned off the back of it. And this is what they look like after they've been cut and sanded. So last step is to seal and protect it so that you can use it and spill water on it, it won't destroy the coaster. So I've decided to use a rub-on poly and mineral spirits 50-50 mix. I saw this on somebody else's YouTube video, so I liked it. So I pour in 50% or half of wipe-on poly, and then I just eyeball it, and the other half will be mineral spirits. And then I mix it up, a little bit stirred around, and then it is good and ready to go. What I like about this mix is that it doesn't dry so thick, and it's easier to work with, but you need more layers. So what I do is I soak each one of the coasters into the mix, and then I set it out on the side to dry. I did this 4 coats with a light sanding in between, and then after 4 coats with a sanding in between each one, I put a little wax over the entire product so that the polyurethane smell doesn't come out as much, and it's a little bit more durable. So after having done this as a test, I really like the way it turned out. The only thing I would change is I wouldn't use cheap plywood. I would buy better grade plywood or even thin pieces of wood. The next project that I do with this, I definitely will do another one. It's probably I will now try to draw my own designs, my own artwork, and transfer it onto coasters that can be used around my house or be given as gifts to friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.